Did you know that Nerd and Tie is putting together a convention? That's right, the Nerd and Tie Expo, which will be held September 23rd through 25th, 2016 in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And we need your help to make it happen. Right now, we're accepting contributions through an Indiegogo campaign, which you can find at http://igg.me/at/NEXPO. Even if you can only give $5, $20, $200, we'll take anything. Oh my God, we'll take anything. Just go there to that URL I said earlier, because it would be strange if I said a different one right now.
On this fortnight's episode of Nerd and Tie, there was a mass shooting at ZombiCon in Florida just this morning. The Gamera trailer was released. We're getting a Godzilla vs. King Kong movie. Frank Miller drew Superman's powerful personality. Starhunter is back. I went to Anime Fusion, and we read your mail. All this and more. It's Nerd and Tie.
It worked that time.
Yeah, now it'll work. Hey, how's it going, Trey? Happy Fortnite to you. Happy Fortnite to everybody else. Welcome to Nerd and Tie, the only podcast on the internet with a dress code. I am one of your hosts for the evening, Professor Firsters, and as always is the very beardsy Ray Dorn.
I'm the only one required to be here because I'm the producer.
You'll notice we do have one less face up on the screen today. Nick Azumi is, me and him were at Anime Fusion this weekend, and it's a lot easier for me to get home from Anime Fusion than it is for Nick in terms of time.
Yeah, as he lives in Janesville, Wisconsin, and I know an hour ago he was still in Minnesota, so...
He's not getting back in time for the episode.
That is...
not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Not going to be here.
Here we are. It's still we're still doing this thing. It's still a nice fall Sunday here in the Nerdatorium. Packers just won.
I don't care. I care not for your foul meatpacking aficionado team.
Something like that. But how are you, Trey?
Tired, mostly. I've gotten very little sleep this weekend.
Same here, but that was kind of brought on by myself.
I went to a corn maze yesterday.
You get crazy in the corn mazes. Those are insane.
It's
pretty hard.
Spent 2.5 hours wandering in corn.
Did you make your way out, or are you still trapped in the cornfield, Trey?
You know, there's more than corn in Indiana.
Maybe you built a new
at Indiana Beach. Sorry.
Maybe you built your own replica of your own house. And
no.
Okay. Well, anyways, let's get going with our stories for this fortnight. And unfortunately, I always say it's good to get sort of the bad out of the way right away.
Yeah.
As we are often wont to do, but unfortunately. There was yet another mass shooting, and while normally it's not something that we report on a whole lot because usually it doesn't pertain to the nerd community as we're involved in it. However, this time it does, and unfortunately, this morning or late last night rather, in Florida, in Fort Myers, Florida, a gunman opened fire on a crowd. At ZombiCon, a one-day street fair usually brings in about 20,000 people, and there has been one confirmed fatality and 4 other injuries. Not much is really known about the suspect or anything like that. As far as police are aware, he's still at large. They don't really have a motive for why it happened yet, but unfortunately there was another shooting and more blood spilled on the ground. This time at the kind of atmosphere that we as members of this community enjoy spending our time.
Yeah, the police have released the name of the person who was shot. We're not going to bother mentioning it because it's not really the point. And for those of you who are confused, because I know we do this fortnightly, and so if you're listening to this anywhere in the we record this on October 18th, so this happened on October 17th. And yeah, no, it just, it sucks. We just 2 months ago, a mass shooting was narrowly averted at the Pokemon World Championships in Boston, Massachusetts. and now for someone to open fire in a crowd at a geek event, it's I don't know. This has got to stop. We're the only country in the world where this stuff happens on a regular basis, and it's insane.
For those keeping track at home, here in America, if you're not from here, this is literally the fourth mass shooting in the last week and a half.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Pretty
and
easy to have happen.
if anybody wants to pull that good guy with a gun thing on this one, like, oh, if people are armed, it was a street fair in Florida. There are probably plenty of people with guns there, yet it still happens. And oh, the shooter got away. So, you know.
And
God
you know,
damn
it's
it,
easy.
Florida.
It's easy for these things to happen, man. When somebody with $100 extra bucks on their person and somebody that's had a bad day can just walk into some place, say, "Hey, I'll take that one,"
Yeah.
and walk right out with it.
Well, you know, and I mean, you know, both of us lived most of our lives in Wisconsin. You know, I don't think either one of us, like, I mean, we're both probably, like, at least I highly respect hunting culture. Frankly, it's got
Oh,
an ecological
absolutely.
need. But what it is that it should be harder to get a gun than it should be to get a driver's license. I don't think that's saying too much. And the fact is, it's about as easy to get a gun as it is to go buy a candy bar in some, you know, areas of the country. And
I
that's
know in
just not cool.
Wisconsin it is.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, like I said, I could
Very
literally
expensive
walk
candy
over to.
bar, but still.
I could walk into Walmart right now and walk out 5 minutes later with a handgun.
Yeah, and it's
I mean, it is what it is, and I mean, this is
license and
it's
regulate. License
it's
and regulate.
terrifying because these are events that I mean, like you want to have fun at places like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to conventions to have fun and you to forget about the real world, and you don't go to conventions to have to constantly worry about holy crap, is this guy, you know, I mean, am I going to die this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's pretty much all we have to say on that topic. If you
Our
want
condolences to the victims,
to the victim's family,
to the victim's family. I hope whoever did this is caught and is
yeah.
prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And I hope that at some point we can stop saying, well, it's another shooting happened today.
And if anybody wants to jump into our comment section with a bunch of right-wing talking points about everyone should have guns and all that, I'm just going to delete and ban you, so don't bother.
Well, Trey, it's why war zones are so safe, right? Because everyone's got a gun.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know, there was a time in American history where everybody was armed. You know, the Wild West, and everybody shot each other.
All the time. It happened all the
Pretty
goddamn
much.
time. All the time.
So, no. Bad idea. But anyways, so yeah, if you feel like saying something in our comment section, if we don't like it, I'm just going to delete and ban you. So keep that in mind.
How about instead of that, how about you just hug your family?
Hug your family, and every person, if you feel like you're arguing with me, just give money to, like, cancer. Just do that. Like, if you feel like arguing with me, just donate money to, like, some, you know, cancer charity. Spend your time more productively.
Yeah. Moving on from that.
Let's move on to something happy.
Oh boy, is this happy!
You know
This is
what?
the best thing ever.
You know what came out just last week at New York City Comic Con. New York Comic Con, I should say. There's no city in that title. The Gamera trailer came out.
Oh!
Now it's been posted online. It's been pulled offline. It's been posted again. We've got it currently embedded on our site.
As long as this one stays up anyway.
This one stays up here. I'm gonna go check.
But oh man,
yeah,
Trey,
no, it's
Gamera,
yeah.
more Gamera. We always need more Gamera.
So yeah, this year is so back in 2014 we announced that a new Gamera film was in development, and it's been a year and a half, and finally we know more. It's the Gamera trailer is out. It's really cool. It has a kid. It has Gamera. It has Gyauses.
Well, I mean, it's got everything you need for a Gamera movie, especially the kid part, because he is friend to all children.
He is, and he saves a kid, just one. Nobody else lived. But it's fun. There's little jokes. There's no word on an actual release date for this film, which everyone was expecting this movie to come out in 2015, and we haven't had a release date, and there's not that much left in 2015.
I would assume we're going to get it by the end of this year, because this year, I mean, the whole point was that it was going to be the 50th anniversary of Gamera, the first Gamera film.
Right. This is the 50th anniversary of the first Gamera film, but and so everyone's assuming this is coming out this year, but technically we don't have it. So, not really sure when it's actually going to come out, but I am so excited for this. Like this looks really good, and it's CGI Gamera, and it actually looks good for CGI from anywhere, not just like Japanese CGI. Which is yeah.
I just it's nice to see something fun coming out. Like I mean we're gonna it looks like it's gonna be a legit fun kaiju movie.
Well, yeah, because it's fun. It's interesting because like the trailer has got humor and jokes, except that the people who were making the jokes end up dying in the trailer. I don't think I don't feel like it's a big spoiler to spoil the trailer.
Oh no, you can't at that point.
But then it looks like they're jumping ahead in time. So the kid in the trailer is going to probably be an adult in the film for most of it, which means that even though we have Gamera friend all children still included, we don't have to follow fucking Kenny.
Or Tibby.
Tibby.
With his pet Tibby.
We don't have to follow the kid all movie. You know, we just have that relationship established.
See, I'm more excited for giant fireballs being spit from a turtle.
Well, who wouldn't be?
That's what I want in my life. We're going to get that.
That's what everybody wants in their life, Pher.
Exactly. I feel that.
Oh, yeah.
So, no word on the release date yet.
Yeah, no word on release date, which is, too bad, because I'd like it sooner than later. Because,
maybe we'll get it for Christmas.
Gamera
is made of meat.
Gamera is really neat.
Gamera is filled with meat. We've been eating Gamera.
All right.
Dr. Forrester is kind of a jerk.
All right.
And Frank is really dumb, too.
I hate you so much. Anyways, deep hurting. Speaking of kaiju, though.
Yeah, even more kaiju
other
news.
Big kaiju news. One of the big things that's come out is that we talked about this on an earlier episode, that the rumors of a new King Kong versus Godzilla movie coming out. Well, because Legendary's been developing Kong Skull Island, and they moved Kong Skull Island over to Warner Brothers, where they're making the Godzilla films. And the big theory was that they were doing this so they could do a King Kong versus Godzilla remake, because again, in the 60s, we had the King Kong versus Godzilla movie, and they were right. It's going to be called Godzilla versus King Kong, flipping the names around from the last time this happened, but Legendary is in fact going to make Godzilla versus King Kong, and it's coming to us theaters in 2020. It's kind of amazing. So they they confirmed Kong Skull Island's release date of March 20th, 2017. Godzilla 2 is coming out June 8th, 2018, and then Godzilla vs. King Kong is going to come out in 2020. Now, we don't know. There are things we don't know, but like why is nothing happening in 2019? Anyways, I can hope.
Oh, we can hope. We can
pray.
Please.
That's what I'm hoping and praying. But yeah, no, it's King Kong and Godzilla are going to fight each other. I don't understand how it's going to work with Legendary.
I would assume like maybe Kong gets a giant robot to fight him.
Well, the thing is, okay, because like the original King Kong so King Kong is like 20 to 30 feet tall, depending on the shot and the version of the movie. And then Godzilla in the original Toho film was like 50 feet tall. So it like sizing up King Kong to that scale.
Kong's got a bigger reach though. He's got a bigger
he's got monkey arms. Yeah. But like when they saw like for King Kong versus Godzilla, they just sized King Kong up to like that 50 feet thing. And, you know, it's bigger than King Kong's supposed to be, but like not frighteningly so.
Right.
Legendary Godzilla is 150 feet.
He's huge.
How does you can't make a King Kong movie with a 150-foot King Kong? He won't fit on the boat.
Unless they like.
Maybe it'll really be Manila versus King Kong. And see, if Nick were here, he would find that funny.
Sometimes I miss Nick being here.
Because
It's so sad that
Nick would
he's
get
not.
my kaiju references. Like he'll be Godzuki versus King Kong. Again, Nick would find this hilarious. I don't know. I think I'm wondering how. I mean, unless literally you just make it a smaller King Kong, like climbing up the back of Godzilla.
How is that even a fight though? Then like that's just.
Well, maybe it's more than one King Kong.
Oh, don't give them ideas. Just throw
Maybe
more
it's more.
Kongs at
Well,
it.
they're doing like Kong Skull Island. You know what I mean? Like they're doing they're not doing a straight King Kong movie. They're doing and so it may be like, you know, because you know you think about the Raptor T-Rex fight in the first Jurassic Park.
And that was intense because normally you'd think one T-Rex could easily crush one Velociraptor, no problem. But even then, like the scaling wasn't that same level, though. I mean, like imagine,
But
like,
it would be if you like 40-foot King Kong maybe to 150-foot Godzilla.
yeah, I guess that's only stacking about 3 more King Kongs on top of each
Right.
other.
So that's why I went to the Raptor fight. The like.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get a few King Kongs. We're gonna get a few Kongs.
We're gonna
Like,
we're gonna get like
a
the
Kong
whole
family.
We'll get King Kong, then Donkey Kong, and then Grandpa Kong, and then Diddy Kong, and
Well, Lanky Kong has this Kong's got a funny
they'll
face.
just pay for the Nintendo license, and
I want fan art of that now.
if they'll let you know if they'll let King Kong be in pixels, they'll let him be in anything.
That's true. That's sad that movie exists. Thanks for bringing that back.
I've seen it in its entirety. It's so
Why
bad.
would you ever do that?
Well, it was the second half of a double feature, and I wanted to see the first movie. And so I stuck around. Actually, the only reason... Okay, so I saw Pixels because I was parked in. I was at a drive-in.
Oh, that's sad.
And the bozo next to me parked in a way where I couldn't get my car out. And so I watched Pixels. I was
so
parked
sorry.
in, and so I saw Pixels. I had a funnel cake. It made me feel better.
I would say there's got to have been something.
I could not
Something
go.
to make it better.
I could not go. I had funnel cake. That was delicious. But so, yeah, I'm excited for Godzilla versus King Kong.
It'll be good. See, I'm curious because they want to make like, I mean,
well, the genius
shared cinematic universes are apparently the soup du jour right now, and that's fine. But I'm interested to see how they're gonna, because like if they work Pacific Rim into this, like they were talking about,
they'll never do a Pacific Rim crossover, because it can't canonically work.
well, yeah, with that kind of attitude.
Well, because they can't exist. They'd have to cross universes literally. Like now King Kong. This is genius because for Legendary because King Kong is in the public domain.
Is he?
Yeah, he is now.
So we could make a Nerd and Tie King Kong movie.
Yes.
Oh.
So with King Kong back in the public domain, Legendary hyping up a King Kong versus Godzilla, that means they don't have to pay for another Toho monster.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're throwing lots of money into Godzilla 2 for other Toho monsters.
For Rodan and
but that
and
means their
Mothra
third
and...
Godzilla film, they don't have to pay money for the other monster. They just have to pay for Godzilla.
Godzilla. And they're probably going to make more than enough money from Godzilla 2.
Right, which means that this is
That's genius.
This movie is just profit.
Genius.
Genius.
Brilliant.
Acting. Sorry.
That's I had not given it really that much thought, probably because I'm still like I'm kind of half asleep right now from con recovery. But that's some pretty genius thinking right there.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah,
That's what's gonna happen.
true dat.
True dat.
All right. Well, that's a cool thing.
You know what else happened?
Oh boy, did
Speaking
it.
of giant things,
Speaking of giant things that I I don't even have a segue into this other than to
giant
say that
monsters.
I'm looking at the worst thing that I think I've ever seen drawn in my life. Um, we we've all known that there's going to be a third book in the Dark Knight series by Frank Miller, and it's going to be called The Master Race. But he's not going to be drawing for the comic, so we don't have to worry about that.
Thank God.
Thank
Just
God for that.
co-writing.
But because Frank Miller is, if anything, somebody that wants to make everybody feel his own pain, um, they DC let him draw a cover for the new Atom mini comic that's going to be packed in with the first Dark Knight issue, the Dark Knight Returns, or the Dark Knight series rather, and it's bad. It is. Can we get it up on the
Oh
screen?
yeah, I can.
Audio?
Let me get that.
What I'm looking at is I'm looking at Superman apparently rolled over by a steamroller and then like kind of left out to dry on a flagpole. But it's okay because there's one very important detail, and that is the outline of his
well,
little
his giant monster.
his little Superman.
Here, let me.
And
We were talking about monsters getting oversized.
and this is just the worst thing I've ever seen
Where
drawn in
is
my
this
life.
thing? I'm trying to pull up the image, and I just have to find it. No, that's The Incredibles 2.
It just I'm trying to figure out what he's doing, and like his hands are three times the size of his head.
Well, it's like Frank Miller at his worst, but what makes this whole thing amazing is, if I can get it up, no pun intended.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just keep using those kind of euphemisms for this
God, where
story.
is this thing?
Yeah, I got the
So,
link.
right, but I should, in theory, have this up. I did not prep this story.
But dear God,
Where is?
at any rate, you can find it on our website nerdatie.com. Back
Oh
on.
well, okay. So what I find amazing about this image is, okay, here we go. What I find amazing about this image, and I will hold it up for the camera in just a second here, is that like it is best described as what would happen if Superman got run over by a steamroller.
That's so bad. I just
It's so awful, but there is such loving detail added to Superman's crotch that you can clearly make out his dong. And he spent the time making sure that you could see Superman's dong through the shorts, but not the time to make sure that any of the rest of the anatomy made sense. Like,
or was proportion.
what is up with his rib cage there?
It's
And it looks like if Superman was run over by a cartoon steamroller. It's amazing. And what is with that expression? Like, seriously, look at that.
somebody just cut him off in traffic, and he's very upset about it. Is what happened.
That is incredible. It's and also once you see Superman's dong, you cannot stop looking at Superman's dong.
I'm trying to get the picture away from me, and I can't do it. Like it's.
Also, I want to point out you can also very clearly make out the Adam's dong.
Can you? Oh, geez, there it is. Frank Miller it was on a dong.
Frank
kick,
Miller has drawn us both Superman and the Adam's dongs in this cover, which makes you ask why is Frank Miller thinking so much about the Adam and Superman's dongs?
I could just see them at these writers meet like they've probably locked Frank Miller out of illustration meetings. I just like that's good. I like this Batman shot.
Well, the
But
amazing
let's
thing,
see more Bat Dong. Let's.
and Worm pointed this out to me, is that DC went to Frank Miller to make the Dark Knight 3. Like, he wasn't this wasn't even Frank Miller's idea. I mean, once you contact Frank Miller, you let in the Frank Miller, but he didn't go like, I want to go do more Dark Knight stuff. No, DC said, we need more of this, and then this just let this happen. This is happening to us. This is happening to all of us.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too is afraid of what he's created?
My God.
Oh, why, Frank? Why?
He just really likes penises.
I guess
this is a new thing too. It's not like he's got this historical like history of carefully outlining dudes' penises, or maybe he does, and inkers were like just not coloring them in for years. Like, for all we know, every single like issue of the Dark Knight Returns like had like Superman's penis carefully outlined, and then like it was inked like Batman's penis like all over the place, and it was just carefully like inked.
And all the illustrators are just like, no, we're just gonna darken it. There we go. There's shorts now. There's shorts. It's shorts
like
now.
No one's wearing pants. Just like dongs are flopping around.
Frank, I like this new edition, but I mean, nobody's wearing any underwear. I don't understand. Yeah, everyone's going commando in Gotham now. It's the new thing.
And like, you know, even the female Ramen has a giant dong. Like, it's just everybody. Like, for all we know, that's what's been happening with Frank Miller's arts for years. Just inkers have not been outlining, like, have been just like, nope, not gonna draw that dong in.
Well,
how do we know this hasn't been happening? Now, you could say to me, well, maybe Frank Miller. I don't know if Frank Miller inked his own stuff. I don't know. But I'm saying that maybe Frank Miller has been penciling in. Even if Frank Miller was inking his own stuff before, he was still penciling in the dongs and then changing his mind. Like,
and now there's
editorial was stopping him. But this time, editorial went to him. We needed a dong story. And it's important that we only refer to it by hilarious words. We can't say penis.
Even though we've been saying penis.
We can say penis, but it's funnier to say dong, schlong, Woodrow Wilson,
Little Superman,
Rumpelstiltskin,
the Bald Avenger,
the Kryptonian salute.
A bird's eye view of Lex Luthor.
Man of Steel. The American Way.
Papa Kent. I don't know. We're 12. We are 12 years old.
We are House of L.
Brainiac. Or would that be Vaniac? Never mind. Let's move on. Next story. We gotta.
Oh God!
Be on the lookout for what I'm assuming is going to be pages upon pages of Batman's Dawn.
We're gonna call this episode Bigger Than Ever, and people are gonna think it's a reference to Godzilla or Gamera, but no. You, the listener, who has made it the half hour into this episode, knows that it's all about Superman's dong. The episode title is about Superman's dong.
Oh my God.
If you haven't listened, like, people who didn't listen 30 minutes in cannot, like, or 29 minutes in or whatever, they don't get to know this.
It. You don't get to appreciate it.
They don't get to appreciate it. All right, so
let's get out of this.
Speaking of things I thought I would never see in my life ever, outside of a poorly acted porn parody.
Do you want to see a badly acted porn parody? Or
no, I didn't think I would see outside of it. I wouldn't. Gotcha. Not that I would go to watch, but might run across.
Right,
it's the internet, and you find things on accident.
Exactly.
Speaking of things I thought I would never see, Starhunter is coming back for a third season. Now, you may say to yourself, I have no idea what Trae is talking about. What is Starhunter? Why is it having a third season important? Well, Starhunter is a little known Canadian science fiction show that was first produced in the early 2000s, like as in 2000. The first season was made then. The second season was made in 2004 under the name Starhunter 2300. And now the third season's being made in 2015, 2016. Under the title Starhunter something or other. Starhunter Transformation. Starhunter is the basic premise of the show is that the crew of the Tulip, they are bounty hunters in space. And the first season's about Michael Pher playing this character Dante Montana, searching for his lost son who got kidnapped when he was a baby, and along with his like Percy, who's like the teenage mechanic played by Tanya Allen, who pretty much, if you Tanya Allen's other acting credits include like getting killed in the Silent Hill movie. That's pretty much it. And she played Percy. Now, the second season is about Dante's son, played by someone else. See, Dante went missing, and then his son showed up. And so the son looking for the father in reverse is what the second season is. While having episode... And Tanya Allen's Percy is still there. And so season 3 will return Michael Pher, the original Dante Montana from the first season, and Tanya Allen, who played Percy, reunited, and it's going to take place 13 years after the original, like the second season, which is roughly when this will end up airing. And it is totally happening. And they're going to also re-release Starhunter on DVD and Blu-ray with new scenes added in, because the creators of the show lost creative control during the second season, and so they're going to re-edit the second season with new special features, new scenes that they're going to shoot for it. Like, they're going to shoot new scenes for it. Like, because right now, if you want to watch Starhunter, there is no legal way to go watch it. A DVD set was released a while ago, but the first season says it, like, they released Starhunter and Starhunter 2300 like they were two different shows, even though they're not. They aired in the U.S. as one show, as seasons 1 and 2. So, the show is not good in the classic sense, but I love it. It was the last great B science fiction show where everything was done on such microscopic budgets, where the only reason why the show was enjoyable was because the cast was charming. Like, the cast was good and did a good job, because let me tell you how cheap the prop production was. A regular prop seen throughout the first season, this communications device, was just a Palm Pilot. It was the Palm 7, in fact. That's the specific model. I know, because at the time I was watching, I was selling Palm Pilots. and so I was like, oh, it's the 7. You can tell because the antenna thing that flips up. But it was just like a painted Palm 7. Like, it was so cheaply shot. But the acting was good enough, and the characters were entertaining enough that it made you still love it. And so, for the return of like what's happened is that the original creators just got the rights back, and they were originally going to create Starhunter Transformation as a web series, but they got an order for 22 episodes, 22-hour-long episodes. So they're turning into a full-fledged season 3. The again, original cast is coming back because they literally have been doing nothing in the meanwhile. And it's just sort of amazing. And no one's talking about this because nobody in America watched Starhunter. Let's not kid ourselves, but
I don't even know what it is.
Like, this is like
I had not heard about it up until the story.
Like, yeah, it's I rewatched it like maybe 4 years ago. Like, I watched it and rewatched it in its entirety in order. I'd never watched it in order before because I'd always like caught random episodes on syndication when it first aired. And it holds up. The special effects are awful, which they're going to be replacing in the new DVD release. I hope that the new edit doesn't like look too good, because part of what makes the show great was how cheap it looked. Like like it was made in the 2000s, but it looked like a remnant of early 90s science fiction. Again, it was like the last great B science fiction series, because everything got cheaper like 3 years after they finished making the show. It became like 20 million times cheaper to produce the same kind of program. And so like Sci-Fi Channel goes and makes like 10 shows with that look 1,000 times better, but are probably spending the exact same amount of money to make them. And it's all because everything's gotten cheaper now, but this show was like the last show right before everything got inexpensive. So yeah, so Starhunter, it's coming back. Oh my god, like that's a thing. It's
And I'm sure the five of you are very happy.
Well, I'm trying to think, like it's just mostly absolutely surprising. It's like finding out they're going to make another season of Team Knight Rider. Like, you know what I mean? It's like hearing they're making season 2 of Crow Stairway to Heaven with Mark Dacascos coming back. It's like I'm trying to think of like equivalents, like of really like obscure things that got canceled. It's like finding out they're making another season of Heroes. No, wait. That's airing right now.
It is.
Oh.
And it's not bad, actually. I mean,
No, I've been
it is
watching.
what
It's
it is.
okay. It feels
Nothing's
like,
nothing's ever going to top that first season, but
well, no. And, honestly, Heroes, for better or for worse, feels like Heroes. Whatever. What was funny, so I've been watching iZombie, and in this last episode,
they just put season 1 up on Netflix, I think.
yeah, they did. But in this last episode,
Get
so
on it.
I don't want to give too much away, but the guy who played Adam on Heroes, so if you go back to like Heroes season 2, like the immortal guy,
Oh
Adam,
yeah,
yeah,
that dude.
that guy plays an important recurring character on iZombie. Because I don't want to spoil his character on iZombie. For those who haven't gone, just
Pineapple salesman.
go watch all, like, Netflix has season
Sells
1 up.
pineapples.
Go watch season 1 on Netflix, and then after that, the first few episodes of the new season are still on Hulu. So you should just like binge that immediately. Like pause this, go watch all of iZombie, come back. But in the latest episode of the show, they had that actor's character, talk to his father, and it's played by the guy who was another major Heroes character, the guy who ran the carnival in one of the later seasons of Heroes. And I was having this weird moment of, yeah. Anyways, I guess that was more interesting to those of us who watched later seasons of Heroes. But you should go watch iZombie because it's amazing. And Starhunter's coming back. Speaking of amazing, how was your weekend?
Oh man, I'm recovering from my weekend at Anime Fusion at the Ramada Mall of America, the Mall of America Ramada in Bloomington, Minnesota. And Trey, I've got to say I don't go to a lot of Minnesota conventions. I mean, I've been to Mars Con. I've never been to Convergence. I've never been to Detour. I've never been to any of the other conventions in Minnesota for obvious reasons. But I have to say that Anime Fusion is probably one of my favorite conventions that I go to. I mean, it's every year. It's so much fun. They put on such a good show. There's a couple of things here and there that are a little bit weird. Like the tabletop gaming room is always like put way the heck away from the main con space. I didn't even try to look for the video game room this year. Usually they have it in hotel rooms, just kind of off in whatever section of the hotel they can. But for the most part, Anime Fusion is a really fun multi-fandom convention. Even though it's called Anime Fusion, I would say it's more multi-fandom than
Well,
anime.
that's what's really happening to a lot of the anime
Yep.
cons. It's the Wisconsin like it sounds like even though their VGR sounds pretty small, it sounds like they are following the Wisconsin model for fandom conventions.
And you really get that feeling. I mean, there's a lot of detour staff on the staff for Anime Fusion, but from what I understand, it feels completely different from Anime Detour.
Yeah.
So, no, it was a blast. I went to represent Otaku Tonight. We did a whole bunch of stuff. We ran
Well,
match game.
you also went to represent
I'm
Nerd and Tie at the
getting
same
there.
time.
I'm
I'm just
getting
saying.
there. I'm getting there. And we not only did we do match game, which was a lot of fun, and people loved that. It was great. We also Nick and I emceed the masquerade contest, as well as the Otaku Tonight team did the halftime intermission, and that went over very very well. I was along with OTP stuff. I was also there for Nerd and Tie. We had an ambassador table there this weekend
For Nerd and Tie Expo.
for Nerd and Tie.
Expo.nerdandtie.com.
And no, it was good. A lot of flyers handed out. We discussed a lot about what the convention was going to be, and people are excited that Eau Claire still has a convention. So I mean that's huge. Couple of negative things about the convention: the scheduling. There were so many scheduling errors from the program guide that they had to print out a special page, and it was filled front to back, like front side back side with scheduling changes, which is a little bit weird. Like I thought, I mean, like you could have probably, I mean, not had that many errors to warrant that, but things happened. People weren't confused. They seemed to understand what was going on. So all in all, a very fun weekend. A lot of good people were there, and I'm excited for next year. Next year is going to be even more fun because it's my birthday weekend next year.
Yeah, I'd love to actually go to Anime Fusion one of these years. It's just that it's hard for me to, I'm in Indiana now, so I had to stop going to Minnesota cons. I never, Anime Fusion's the one I
Apply,
always wanted to go to, but they started up after I moved away.
apply to the artist alley.
Well, no, but it's the travel.
You
It's the
know,
travel. It's dude, that's like a 10 to 12 hour drive.
well, do it over a couple of days. Crash with me, and then
I do it over a couple of days and I go to Eau Claire. But no, it's because I used to go to MarsCon every year. I always loved MarsCon, even though it's the like older crowd. Uh, but yeah,
sometimes that can be more fun though because there were a few jokes that we made during the cosplay contest as MCs where I was just like, all right, went over everybody's heads. Moving on.
yeah. It's the problem with anime cons is always a younger audience, and so you got to tune to that. It's as a former cosplay host, as I've hosted both with Nick and to some degree with you, although not
Yeah.
really as heavily with you.
No. No.
But we were involved in like tangentially in some of the same years. And it's yeah, no, it's I honestly, there's a reason why I'm just going to say it and announce it that the Nerd and Tie Expo cosplay contest is going to be hosted by Nick and Pher
Oh, why? Thank you, Trey.
because I don't want to do it. Um, yeah, I don't want to do it.
Hey,
But
it's fun though. Like
also,
it was
one of us has to not be doing it.
right. Can't have a
Um,
3-person.
Well, you can have three
thing.
persons, but when three people are in charge, you need one of the people in charge not to be busy. Um, but yeah, no, it's Anime Fusion sounded like it was a lot of fun. Then
It was a
you
blast.
meet cool
I
people.
would cool people got to see a lot of friends that I normally don't get to see because usually they only go to Minnesota cons. So it was a lot of fun to see them. It was a lot of fun to hang out and see people you only see a few times a year. So
That's awesome.
yeah, like location wise, it's really weird because I mean, if you want food, you typically have to try and like wander into the Mall of America to get food. And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, I'm like, I'm gonna make a drive not there because I don't want to have to spend an hour getting food and parking and so
Yeah. Well, then you still have to go repark though, don't you?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
the hotel.
repark and yeah,
There's
it's
nowhere else in walking distance. I mean, that's a
no,
pretty.
there really isn't. I
It's
mean,
been
like
so long since I've been there because like
you could walk probably another half mile
it's probably
around
been
the
10
Mall of
years since I
America.
last went to the Mall of America. I've been to Bloomington far more recently than I have been to actually like to the Mall of America proper. So, because again, I've been to MarsCon. Um, but which is usually held over at the Holiday Inn there. But yeah, no, yeah, I guess so you didn't walk over to the Mall of America and then meander to the Cinnabon on the first floor. I'm assuming it's still there. Again, it's been over 10 years since I've been to the Mall
Yeah,
of
it's there's still
America.
Cinnabon there. I didn't even go there this year though.
That's Cinnabons are delicious. Oh, I miss Cinnabon.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's what we should do for
What should we do, Trey?
we should meander over to the mailbag.
I think we should. Let me just reach into the mailbag here and pull out a letter, and here I am. Can you see me reaching in? Yes, you can see me reaching into the mailbag. There we go.
A little bit to the left.
Don't make that.
Oh.
No, don't. Please, for the love of God, never do that again.
That's what Daddy likes.
Okay.
I've made it uncomfortable. For those of you who want to feel better, there is literally 500 miles between me and Pher at this moment. There is no way possible that either one of us could have any sort of physical contact. And I'm wearing pants.
All right. I guess I'll read the letter now.
Read the letter.
Now that happened.
Now that everyone's uncomfortable.
All right. This comes from our good friend Archimize. Archimize writes, "Hey nerds in their respective ties. Long time no letter. Mine I'm not wearing because it was Packer game day today.
I don't wear my tie during the show, but I make sure it's always visible now.
In accordance with Trey's request from last time, I wear 30 by 32 pants. Pher's hat is nice, but not as good as mine. It would be awesome to see you guys at every con everywhere. And the Nerd and Tie Expo is awesome. Do you guys have any updates on core events or panels that you could share?"
Well, we can announce that Pher and Nick will be hosting the cosplay contest.
Yeah.
And there will be panels.
There's going to be a lot of panels. I've had people come up to me talking about one panel. They can start submitting panels. And honestly, like what I think you're going to see from the panel from Nerd and Tie Expo is a little bit more of an academic kind of presentation. A lot more, a lot of good educational type panels, I think.
And I think what you'll see are more panels that are all flash and glitter and zero substance, just explosions and dancing girls and dancing boys, if that's what you're into. And dancing non-gender specific individuals, if that's what you're into.
It's true.
So the real question is which panel room do you want to be in?
Well, there is going to be that weird 3 a.m. art house panel that I'm going to do in the weird or the weird room that we're going to have that we can't really probably call the No Mercy room, but it'll be good.
We can. I named it. I never gave that name over to No Mercy. We can call it whatever we want, but I don't think we'll call it the No Mercy room. I will say that what we can announce, though, is we're going to have a podcasting track on likely Saturday of the convention, where what we're going to do is we're going to, and we've reached out to a couple already, but we're probably going to talk to more local Wisconsin podcasts and Twin Cities. Well, we haven't talked to anyone in Twin Cities yet, but we're open to Twin Cities podcasts, obviously. And we're gonna do a track where podcasters are allowed. We'll let them all set up their equipment in one space, and then shut down the room for like an hour. Everyone will get to set up their stuff, and then we'll do live podcasts one after another in a panel room. With so there's not a huge amount of changeover time needed because everyone's equipment will be set up, and so we want to have since we're a podcast putting on a convention, we want to highlight geek podcasts very heavily. And so we're going to have live shows from as many geek podcasts as we can fit in there. And so that's some programming that you'll see at the Nerd and Tie Expo that you won't see anywhere else. And the subject matter of this stuff is going to be really varied. So I'm sure that there will be something you're really interested in watching.
It'll be good.
We'll be wearing pants and everything.
Indeed. All right, so let's keep going with the letter. Now for the real meat of the letter. Lately, I've been watching the TV series version of From Dusk Till Dawn. It's a retelling of the original movie in a longer format and goes into greater exploration of the characters and the world, and it's been pretty solid. And the spirit of that series, is there a movie franchise you think could really excel or has excelled with a little more room to breathe? It's not a nerd movie or nerd related necessarily, but Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, I never watched Friday Night Lights, the TV show. I know that Joe Grassafi did extras casting on the original Friday Night Lights movie. Um, Little
I
known
mean,
fact, friends
I
there.
thought it was
Uh,
phenomenal.
but I've never watched Friday Night Lights. I think Star Trek could really do better with the series. Star
Yeah,
Trek, Star Trek, Star Trek. Um, because I feel like the one big problem with the new movies franchise is that you never really get to spend time with anything. So again, I think that the first 5 minutes of Pacific Rim would have made a great show.
yeah,
Like because and I think Pacific Rim handles it very well where they move you to that point of the story, but the whole like development of the Jaegers and like all of that stuff, like that is a whole prequel series, would have done really well. I think the Stargate franchise actually transitioned from movie to TV series really great, and because SG1 that ran for over 10 years. um so I mean that should like they built out a really great universe in that franchise. So I think Stargate's a great example of doing it right. I haven't gotten to watch From Dusk Till Dawn yet. I have the El Rey network because I'm a Sling TV customer. But I haven't gotten around to like ever tuning into an episode. But I also never watched the original From Dusk to Dawn movie, so that's really the main reason why I didn't bother going back to it. But um, I think it really depends just on the show. I think that the big problem is that I always am afraid that anything that gets adapted into a TV series these days is going to get turned into a police procedural.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to watch a Star Trek police procedural.
I think it'd be all right.
Really, what I'd like to watch is a Star Trek intelligence, like spy espionage show set in the Star Trek universe. But um, that would be awesome.
No,
But
I'm looking at all the movies that I've got on my wall right here, and like one that kind of just like jumps out at me, and I could say like, okay, I could probably watch a whole, I could probably watch a TV series about it. No, wait a minute, that's right, that happened. There was a War of the Worlds TV series.
was there
Yeah, it lasted like a season.
what channel? Like when? What year? I should
I think
say.
it was sci-fi because like I've always like
I don't think so.
no, there was a TV series and I'm getting it up right now. It ran from 1988 to 1990.
Oh, then it wasn't sci-fi. Like
It's a
because they
Canadian
didn't
American
exist.
show.
Yeah, because Sci-Fi Channel didn't exist till 1993. I want to say. Um,
But John Colicos was in it. Uh, who else was in this show? Mia Kirshner,
that sounds like
Adrian
fun.
Adrian Paul.
Highlander was a great show that came out
Yep,
of a movie.
yep, exactly. Oh man.
Friday the 13th, the series, which had nothing to do with Friday the 13th. Yeah, yeah.
You know what? You know a show that didn't take off that I really wish did, and I loved the pilot, and I would have loved to have seen more. The Zombieland TV series that Amazon
Yeah.
did about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I liked the pilot, and I voted for it to get picked up, but it didn't. I was a really enjoyable
I guess, like,
show.
do we really need one more zombie show?
This one was different, though. I mean, like this was in the spirit of the movie, which was it never took itself seriously.
Okay. All right. So I think we kind of covered the various like. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure what's going to happen is that as soon as the episode's over, I'm going to think of like three more shows.
and that's exactly what's going to happen here too.
So
I'm looking at a lot of movies that did get TV series that shouldn't have. Looking at you, Spaceballs. Um,
Yeah, that should not have gotten a TV series.
It did. It was
But
an
it got
animated.
one.
It was animated and it was terrible.
Napoleon Dynamite shouldn't have gotten a cartoon.
That's right. That happened.
That happened with the original cast, no less. But so yeah, it's, you know what, we want to know what shows, what movies you think would make good shows. Why don't you, you the audience, tell us. Go to nerdandtie.com/contact. Tell us what movie do you think would make a great TV show, or write a comment in the comments section on our website for this episode, or on YouTube. We're okay with you writing on YouTube.
Yeah, do it.
A little bit. Read the rest of the letter.
In an unrelated note, have you guys seen the latest
letter,
episode of Gotham? If you missed it, you can always check out the recap on that nerdandtie.com site I've heard so much about. Have a great one, team. Your brother in Cthulhu, Arkham Eyes.
For those of you who are unaware, Arkham Eyes is...
it's the recap for Gotham. Contributor.
Is a contributor, a guest contributor to our website. He's been doing the Gotham recaps this season, and so far we're allowing him to continue.
Yes. Because we've not been told to not yet.
Because no one's complained.
Yet.
All right. So.
That's all we've got for our letters, for our main letters. Let's
move on to the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge.
Yeah, let's hit that up.
The Vomit Hat Steve Challenge. For those of you who don't know, every episode I read a portion of a book in what we call the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge. The challenge to you, the listener, is to guess what book I'm randomly reading from. Pretty simple. If you guess the book correctly, you get added to our Hall of Awesome. The benefits of the Hall of Awesome are as follows. You get your name added to our website. I read your name aloud every episode, every regular episode of the podcast, not on specials, but on regular episodes. And that is it. Because again, this is a silly little game we're playing, and we're on a budget. The current people in the Hall of Awesome are Arkham Zero, Rena Innocenti, Cheesy McDamn, Krista, Slither ED, Shameless Otaku, The Random Ramblings Man, Corfan, Capito, Chris Graham, Lily Soros, Paper Godzilla, and Cavsy. And so now, at this point in the episode, I'm going to read you a random line. I've been reading from the same book for a couple months now, and I'm going to keep going. Like, I was reading from this book at GeekCon. So, all right, I will read you now a sentence.
Do it.
When he was 20, his unorthodox religious views led to his expulsion from the Jewish community in Holland. If you know what book that's from, go to nerdandtie.com and click on contact and tell us in the contact form. Or again, go there and tell us about anything else you want us to read about in our mailbag section on the show. Why does Pher smell so funny? Why does Trae have
probably because I
hair?
just got done from a con weekend.
Where have we buried Nick? All of these things and more. Tell us. Let us know. Again, go to nerdandtie.com and click on the contact form. It's fun. It's exciting. It's wholesome for the whole family, for the other family. And for some reason, my phone decided I must have been playing a Taylor Swift album I don't own, so I don't know how that happened. But yes.
What?
I don't know.
We're going to play Taylor Swift as our outro music?
No, we're not. But I unlocked my phone, and for some reason, it displayed the cover to 1989, which is only weird because I don't actually own it. So it's
I would
not
love
on my
to have
phone.
that happen, but also I don't like getting sued. So
anyway, right. We're not going to do that. We'll use our regular outro music, which we should probably queue up.
We should probably do that. So thank you all for joining us again for another fortnight's episode of Nerd and Tie. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Professor Pher.
I'm Trae Dorn. And I'm Nick Izumi.
And crap damn, I'm Nick Izumi.
Keep on spucking in the free world. All right. Remember to subscribe to us through either iTunes or Stitcher and rate and review us in those stores. Remember, the Stitcher app is available for both iOS and Android. And, of course, iTunes is only available on things that can run iTunes. So there. But either way, subscribe, rate, review, or you can use your regular podcast. Or, heck, subscribe to us on YouTube because we have been putting these videos up for almost a year, which is terrifying. But we love you.
Has it been a year?
Much. Well, in November, it'll be a year of us doing the video version.
Oh. Huh.
It's been longer for the podcast. Dance party. I'm balding.
Hand me a phone.
Sounding
Hand me a phone.
I hate you so much for
Carry it, Mo. Carry it.